What's going on? What's good, gang? So, like a long time ago, long time ago, I made a Dragon Ball Power Scale tier list from like the original Ball to, I believe, Broly. But since then, Superhero has come out. My opinions on the original series haven't changed very much, like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. So I think that this is just a fun little video. Most of it's going to be repeated from that one because like most of my opinions on the scaling before like Tournament of Power stuff hasn't changed. But with Superhero, a few arguments have come up, and I'm saying this with like genuineness. If you disagree, like tell me what you would change and tell me why. I've been watching like a ton of power scaling on Dragon Ball on YouTube, but the problem is that everyone kind of has their own agenda. So they sort of rep an argument more to get that argument to win than like to kind of talk about why the argument's that great. So yeah, I want to hear some new perspectives. The benchmark for Z tier is Vegito. If you beat Vegito, you're in God tier. I don't want to have to get into this, but like other than like Broly, everyone in original Z is just below Vegito. So if you scale below Vegito, you're ass in Super. Goku very debatably probably scales above Z Vegito because he thinks that him taking an L from Beerus is enough to say that like yeah, Vegito probably couldn't handle Beerus. So that I mean you can take that as a lot of things. In particular, that does mean that he thinks Beerus is stronger. Even if Vegito was stronger than him, he just thinks Beerus is stronger than that. Whether or not Goku's ever sensed that big of a cliff before or not is something to kind of question, but while Goku is definitely weaker than a Battle of Gods Vegito, I think that the statement and the whole point of the arc and movie is that yeah, this is something that we can't just pull Vegito out and do that. It is also worth noting that they might not be able to think they can do Vegito whenever they want because that was like a weird Supreme Kai thing, so Goku's statement might only be referring to Metaboran fusion. But I feel like it's definitely the point that Goku being confident he can take on someone that's just flatly stronger than Buu. So not like the suppressed Kid Buu, not like normal Buuhan, like we're talking stronger than full power Kid Buu and Buuhan. And Goku's like, yeah, I can take that on. And a big counter to this would be that he's thinking that Beerus is like chill, so he's not gonna like try and kill him. But then he notes when he dodges back as like an omen to Ultra Instinct, he says I avoided a killing blow, and Beerus doesn't like argue with him about that either. And he says you must be some sort of genius fighter to do that. So yeah, I think the point is clearly that Goku, since training and becoming the strongest in the universe and training for I believe 4 years after the end of Z, has just become this strong. Buu is not stronger than Vegito. Gotenks should pretty directly scale above Buu. It's kind of contentious whether or not the Buu we have in the main cast is Majin Buu or Good Buu. So Majin Buu or Fat Buu is the Majin Buu that emerged during the battle of Majin Vegeta and Goku. However, he split himself in half, and it's worth noting that Good Buu is the distinctly weaker half of that Fat Buu. So we don't know if the Buu that came out of Kid Buu is Fat Buu or Good Buu. Either way, even if we just assume this is Majin Buu, Gotenks specifically trained and stated that he wanted to make his base as strong as Fat Buu so that Super Saiyan could one-shot him. So, if this is Good Buu, base Gotenks probably like whops him, and if it's equal, then Gotenks can go higher. So Gotenks just wins by default. Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks versus Ultimate Gohan, we pretty clearly saw how they both did against Buu. Arguably, Buu was like suppressed against Gotenks because of the fact that he didn't pull out that like weird suicide bomber technique that he did against Gohan. So even at that, Gohan is just stronger. Piccolo's best scaling in the Buu saga is that he thinks he can take like suppressed Bora, but that's inconsistent when he concedes to Supreme Kai, who's stated to be equal to Cell Games Goku. That just loses to the Buu saga. Tien's best scaling here would be scaling his Tri-Beam above 16, because he did better against Semi-Perfect Cell with it. Still weaker than Cell Games Goku. 18 could be stronger. She scales to, like, base Goten and Trunks. I don't remember if they go Super Saiyan in that fight. If they do, she's, like, here. Otherwise, she's down here. I'm not really interested in arguing for Android 18 being, like, that strong. She doesn't do anything. Vegeta pretty clearly outdoes Goku. I mean, we don't need to have this discussion. And then Goku comes out and is, just infinitely stronger than a hypothetical Battle of Gods Super Saiyan 3 Vegito. Stronger than Rage Vegeta. Stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku. It's worth noting that Goku thinks that fusion won't do anything, and then false Super Saiyan Ritual God, like the one that's just Super Saiyan, he's like, alright, I think I have a chance. And then that's, like, wrong. And then he gets the full one. So he's, like, strong. He got, like, higher than a fusion amp, plus another amp. And then he absorbs that into his Super Saiyan state. And then at the end of the battle, he outdoes his Super Saiyan state in base. So, like, this is the big cliff. If it weren't for the fact that I'm using Vegito to gatekeep the tier, these two are not probably even close to this guy. Master Roshi's best feat in F is, like, beating Frieza Soldier's power level 1500. It's the worst in the series. Krillin's best feat would be the implicit scaling that he thinks he can... There's a statement in the Android arc where Piccolo says, if you don't think you can beat a Super Saiyan, don't show up. This is referring to future Trunks and Yardrat Goku. Krillin also does have some supportive scaling to this. He was able to, like, headbutt Imperfect Cell. So, I mean, there's that. So, it's definitely stronger than Roshi. Tien, he doesn't have any better scaling. He's just, like, he trains, so he's probably above his old self. Gotenks comes out. It's stated that Gotenks is starting to get rusty. But how much weaker you are when you're rusty compared to having, like, being already above Boo and then having, like, a 400 times multiplier, it's like, yeah, he's probably still above Boo and everyone else. He also does well against Tagoma, who is kind of represented by other characters on this list because I didn't want to put Tagoma on here. Piccolo is able to do, like, well against Tagoma, who's stated to be either as strong or stronger than Ultimate Gohan. He does ultimately lose that battle against Tagoma, needs to be saved by Gohan, so he's below Ultimate Gohan. This is weird. This Gohan specifically is weaker than, like, Ultimate Gohan, but then Tagoma stated to be equal to or stronger than that Gohan, and when he goes Super Saiyan, he one-shots him. So he has to be stronger than Ultimate Gohan, even though that doesn't make any sense, but this is, like, what happened. Super Saiyan Blue is explicitly stated in the arc to be Super Saiyan God plus Super Saiyan, so it's just 50 times stronger than this bare minimum. Actually, no. If you think this is only the Ritual God, then he would be 500 or 2,500 times stronger than this one, depending on how you do it. But yeah. We also have reinforced by the Kefla fight that Super Saiyan Blue is just Super Saiyan God times 50. That's not really up for discussion anymore. Vegeta, before the arc, it stated that Vegeta had actually just blatantly surpassed this Goku, like, base to base, and then they both train and get the blue forms, so it would take more assumptions to say Vegeta's weaker than it wouldn't. So Vegeta's probably just stronger right now. However, that's, like, weird implied scaling, and assuming they didn't just even out. Frieza directly shows he's stronger than Goku, so he's higher than both. He lost because of stamina. Batamo, like, Goku stronger than this cannot hurt this guy in base. Like, Goku, with a base that's at least 50 times stronger than this, like, can't hurt Batamo and has to, like, ring him out. I don't really know how far he gets based off that, but I'm just going to say he's above these guys because, like, they can't hurt him, and not everything is a tournament battle. Sort of similarly, this guy is very hard to scale. The moment Vegeta goes Super Saiyan, he just gets instantly bodied. But you can make the argument that Vegeta, after witnessing the fight, thinks he does need Super Saiyan. So that's probably where I would put Frost in Universe 6. It's also worth noting he's got techniques. So even though he would have straight up lost the battle to Piccolo 1v1, And Piccolo's special beam cannon in Universe 6 does have some really good statements and feats of, like, comparing to Kaioken Blue Goku. It really just, he lost the battle, and Frost can use those abilities. If you're curious, I do think that Frost without his abilities would be lower, even though it feels weird, but that is honestly how that would probably go. Vegeta, though, is just straight up stronger than Super Saiyan Vegeta. Super Saiyan Vegeta needed to, like, start abusing Vegeta's, like, feelings to win the battle, so he definitively goes above there. Cabba is equal to Vegeta base to base, and then can go Super Saiyan. But he's not as strong as Mastered Super Saiyan. So I would wedge him right between Frost and Vegeta. We don't know how much stronger they've gotten, but if you just want a headcanon that they almost always train to surpass the people who beat them last, you could do this. Wouldn't make any much difference. Hit pretty cleanly comes out and beats the blue era characters, and then Goku has to use Kaioken times 10. But sadly, Hit is actually probably stronger. Goku is, like, about to die and explode, and Hit's like, alright, let's keep this going. And then Goku wrings himself out so that they can have a real fight sometime. So Goku pretty clearly is not going to win the battle with stamina, and Hit just kept adapting to him, so. This was early, I mean, I guess Super still does this, but this was Super really emphasizing that Goku and Vegeta can't just catch up to everyone, like, mid-arc. And then Champa, I'm going to go and put Champa above Hit and Goku, but not in a tier higher. So Champa, he's pretty confident after the fight that he could take either one of them. But then when they both sort of glare at him, Vados, like, makes the remark, like, it probably won't be that easy to destroy them. So it means that he's individually confident about taking either one of them, but he thinks that, like, their ability to adapt and get stronger, as well as just their raw power together, is, like, something he needs to be worried about. So I can't put him, like, a tier higher. He's, like, got to be around their level, give or take. It's worth noting in Dragon Ball, you only have to be, like, I think 20% stronger than somebody to, like, completely one-shot them. So mathematically, he's not a transformation higher. Like, the lowest transformation number we have is, like, would be Kaioken. So Kaioken is, like, 5 times better than one-shotting someone. Like, a transformation by default is way better than just being able to one-shot someone. And we don't even know that he can one-shot them if he thinks that them working together is, like, scary. A lot of people have this weird conception where, like, gods of destruction are just, like, these infinite moving goalposts that no one can ever surpass, but that's more of, like, a Beerus thing. Beerus is really weird, but especially in the manga, but, like, not in the anime. The other gods are ass. Champa's here. Like, base Frieza before the Tournament of Power can, like, shrug off a Hakai from one of the gods. Belmod is just directly weaker than multiple of his, like, universe individuals, you know? It's the gods are not this weird, super high tier. Zamasu was able to force out Super Saiyan 2 from post-Universe 6 Tournament Goku, which I'm going to just put above the Universe 6 fighters that aren't Hit. Trunks, whenever they fight, is pretty consistently able to beat Zamasu. He just can't do much further than that because he's immortal. And then Black, we know, forced Trunks into the past, so goes above him. This is also consistent when you consider that Goku in Super Saiyan 2 wasn't trying all out, even though he was testing Black more so. So it would make a lot of sense for Black, who's consistently considered stronger than Zamasu, to be this high, and for all of them to be weaker than Super Saiyan 2, but probably above Super Saiyan 1. Then Goku Black comes out, and this is kind of an interesting discussion. So he, like, pisses off Goku on purpose so that he'll get stronger and beat his ass so Goku Black can adapt to that. He, like, rubs it in his face that he murdered Chi-Chi and Goten, and then Goku, like, gets his weird amp. If you want to quantify rage amps from characters that aren't Gohan, we know that Vegeta, who was probably weaker than Goku base to base, managed to surpass Super Saiyan 3 with Super Saiyan 2. That's a 4 times amp, so while Goku Black is probably a lot stronger than the Blues from the Universe 6, he's probably not Kaioken level. And Kaioken at this point was still considered, like, this weird, like, it's gonna ruin my body. It's my ultimate technique. You know, it wasn't like something he just pops into. So, yeah, Goku Black Rose would just adapt to blue level, and be stronger than it, but not just Kaioken level because we haven't seen it. And it's hard to prove he's that much stronger than blue. The best is that he's 4 times, but that's not 10. Then we know future Trunks Rage is able to like hold him and Zamasu off for like a day. And the only reason Trunks isn't like winning is because one of them is immortal and one of them heals when they use their Zenkais. So, oh no, I forgot about this absolutely devious Vegeta picture I took. Why is he looking like that? What is he? He's so weird. So yeah, Vegeta, I mean, he just fucking bullies Black. And like we said, you only have to be 20%, so it's probably not like Kaioken times 10 level yet. He doesn't make any statements about surpassing Goku, only surpassing Black, so yeah, kind of unfortunate. Goku, however, is definitely in the next tier. This is really sad for Vegeta, because Vegeta like gets pissed off and trains in the time chamber for like half a year and then beats up Black. But we're gonna get into this. This Black just like bodies Vegeta after this. Black, when he pulls out the scythe, we're gonna put him in the next tier. Black has a weird statement that he's considered to be the strongest non-fused character when he appears and he uses the scythe and he starts like manipulating dimensions. That doesn't hold up after this statement. Like, he's not stronger than anyone individually in like the Tournament of Power, because that arc goes crazy. But he very much is like the limit for like the lower like downplay tier. Maybe I'll put him here. And then this is where this shit gets kind of crazy. He fuses with Zamasu, so he should be a little bit stronger by default. But then Goku is able to like outdo Vegeta Blue, that's like stronger than Rose and Rage, plus Trunks with just Blue, and then he stacks Kaioken on top of that and turns this Zamasu into like jelly. So Goku just kind of instantly surpasses Vegeta, even though he didn't train for like even though he didn't train for half a year like Vegeta. It's like really sad. It's real bad. Vegito Blue comes out and is doing better than Goku, enough so to force this Zamasu to become corrupted. Corrupted Zamasu is stronger than Vegito. Vegito would have won the battle if he wasn't immortal, because he like liquefies him a few times, but because he's immortal, he just keeps coming back and adapting. And eventually it gets to the point to where a final Kamehameha doesn't damage Zamasu. What's important to note is that it's not that he gets liquefied and then he gets back up. He literally just tanks it. So it's not a case where Vegito is actually stronger at the end of the fight. Now, I agree, Vegito, like, I think he kills Zamasu like 3 times in the fight, but he just keeps coming back. So, like, yeah, no immortality, Zamasu is still down here, but, like, he's able to adapt and grow stronger because of his immortality. His Black and his Zamasu ability working together, and he overcomes Vegito, which requires the plot sword. Infinite Zamasu I put on here just kind of to leave down here, because he's probably realistically like maybe like here. Goku is pretty confident that if he had a Senzu Bean, he could mop the floor with this Zamasu. He's literally got the haircut of the original Zamasu too, so he probably lost all of his Goku Black influence. I think that this Zamasu in particular is really overhyped, and the best you can make for him is just that he's stronger than this Trunks and weaker than Omen 1 Goku. That's the best you can do for him, unfortunately. Goku is on here to help us reference for the Tournament of Power, because Goku, when he pulls up to fight Frieza, is pretty confident he can take this Frieza in base. He gets proven wrong because Frieza got stronger, but he doesn't challenge his like initial assumption that he's this level in base. He only changes that, oh, Frieza himself got stronger. So, for reference, this is now base Goku. Tien is like kind of impossible to scale in the Tournament of Power. He has like no feats. If you want to use like his best Z argument, you could say that they brought him instead of Yamcha, and Yamcha in the anime fought Olibu, who scales to Pikkon and Super Perfect Cell. So we'll put him like above Z Piccolo. God, they did my boy Tien so dirty. Why did they even put him in the tournament if this is all they're gonna do with him? Just put Boo in there and have Boo scream and stuff. Roshi got his ass beat by Frost, but he was able to like put up something of a fight, and he uses techniques, so probably skill Batamo and anyone weaker than him. I know that people hate that Roshi is this high, but like, what are you gonna do? It's not the manga where he's like squaring up to Jiren. These guys scale to Goku Blue level. It's stated specifically that Goku needs Vegeta's help to deal with these guys when they use their Trio to Danger Beam. But that is because it is an attack. Attacks have different multipliers than your base, and they were using teamwork, which in Dragon Ball specifically stated to make you stronger. This is like the future androids, the Trio to Dangers. Goku and Vegeta, even when they work together, I believe in the manga for versus Jiren, they're stated to be stronger working together than if they were just fighting on their own. Like, beyond just being 1 + 1 = 2, it's like more like 1 × 1 = 3 somehow. I don't know, that's just how Dragon Ball works. So I'm gonna put them, they're like bare minimum ×2 blue, but this Goku can use ×10, so I'm gonna put them here. Krillin and 18 scale to like fatigued Super Saiyan Goku in the Tournament of Power that's vaguely stronger than he was when he entered. It's real difficult to say where that scales them, but if we're just generous and say that like, well, they would be 50 times stronger than this Goku, it's like, where can we say you can prove that these characters are 50 times stronger? So like, what, 4 times, 10 times, and then still vaguely stronger. So, like, if you were to be honest, they'd probably be up here, but I understand why this feels incredibly wrong. And then we know Ribrianne could give 18 a good fight. Krillin outdid 18 versus the, like, blind wolf guy. It's really weird, but that's just kind of how Dragon Ball is. Kefla came out, or Caulifla came out and forced Goku to actually surpass Super Saiyan 2. He had to go 3. But once he goes God, they just get shit on. So, there's that. Magetta scales to Super Saiyan Vegeta in the Tournament of Power, who isn't fatigued, but is also probably stronger than Goku. So he wedges between these characters. Kaba scales relatively with Caulifla. The problem is Caulifla got stronger in her fight with Goku, so her base would actually be stronger. So it's actually really sad, but Kaba's probably like just kind of here. As sad as that is, they did my boy so dirty. Piccolo scales relatively with Gohan, who is like vaguely blue Kaioken level at the start of the tournament. Piccolo scales more so to like Gohan's base, and his special beam cannon is stronger than Ultimate Gohan. Ultimate Gohan in Super seems to have like a transformative state. He goes from like having like Super Saiyan black hair to having the Bang, which indicates he's Ultimate. He doesn't seem to get drastically stronger, but it is noted he was doing worse than Piccolo versus the Namekians. Then when he transforms, he does better. So he scales to like Gohan above Gohan's base, which would be vaguely blue level. Zamasu is weaker than blue, but so I think we're just gonna leave Piccolo here. This is probably fine. Aniraza scales above the blues and needs to be like ganged up on and exploited with a weak spot. So he's probably not stronger than like Kaioken blue, but he's definitely stronger than the individual blues, and probably them. Hit in the Tournament of Power comes out and does better than Kaioken ×20 Spirit Bomb Goku versus Hit, or Jiren, and then arguably does better than Omen 1 Goku against Jiren. Either way, he's pushing Jiren more than this Zamasu is. Kefla comes out and fights Omen 2 Goku. There's a statement that Goku and Omen each time breaks his limits, his total limits, which would make Omen 2 by default stronger than Omen 1, who hit is arguably close to, whereas he might not even scale to Omen 1. And then on top of that, Kefla is stronger than Omen 2. She just can't hit him. So Kefla is stronger than Hit, flat out. Vegeta then comes out after all of that against Jiren, and while Jiren and him are fighting, he uses a final flash in blue, and just for some reason is just stronger than anything Jiren has ever felt, and makes Jiren use more energy than anything he ever fought. And it's stated that Vegeta's final flash is like shaking Belmod. It's just like insane what Vegeta's blue final flash does. He's just like the strongest character aside from Jiren right then for no reason. It doesn't make like any sense, but that's just what happens. This is Gohan, so Gohan is blue Kaioken level. The only problem is we know he couldn't defeat Aniraza on his own, so him being more like Kaioken times 2 is more likely. He's more like the Danger level and like Special Beam Cannon Piccolo level. However, he pretty directly lost to Dispo one-on-one. He had to ring out with him. You can argue this is just because Dispo's fast, but it just means Dispo's speed is too high for characters like Gohan to handle completely on their own. As weird as that is. 17, so I used to be a really big arguer for 17 as like blue evolution Vegeta level, but he really isn't. Not in the anime. Maybe in the manga he is. I haven't read the full Tournament of Power in the manga, so tell me if he is. I know that he's got some crazy feats in the Moro arc, so. But 17 scales to Fatigued Blue Evolution and Fatigued Blue Kaioken Goku. So from there, it's kind of hard to scale 17. The only thing to say is that he's relevant in the final fight against Jiren, but at the same time, Jiren is like Fatigued too. The only character who doesn't get fatigued is 17. So when all these other characters get massively fatigued, it's more like they drop down to this level, as opposed to like 17 and them still being jacked. I really do love the like Goku and base is stronger than Blue Evolution Vegeta argument, but it's not very good. It's a very poor argument. You can pull it out against someone who like doesn't know how to argue though, like at all. Like I probably couldn't beat it, but all we know then is that 17 directly compares to Gohan and does better against him, against Toppo. Gohan couldn't do anything to Toppo, and 17 was like holding his own. He was losing, but he was doing better. So 17 just scales directly above Gohan in the Tournament of Power. Toppo is stronger than Dispo, and then when he enters his ultimate state, forces Vegeta Blue Evolution to use like basically a like full like a max power suicide attack explosion that like completely drains him. So they're like hyper relative. Frieza in the Tournament of Power, all we can say really is that he does better than these two against everyone, but again he couldn't individually handle Dispo. So that's kind of weird, but Frieza is just really insanely durable though, and I have to say in a 1v1 I actually think he would outlast Dispo. He was specifically worried about being ringed out against Dispo, which I think will put him below 17 as well. These four are all really weird. Dispo's faster than the three of them, but that doesn't mean he can just like one-shot them. 17 has infinite energy, and then Frieza's just durable. He took like the entire tournament beating and was still getting up and slamming down at the very end. Frieza's also weird because at multiple points he comes in and like starts beating up Jiren. It never lasts, so it's kind of implied Jiren just gets like caught off guard and jumped. Scaling Frieza in the tournament is really weird. There's also like the weird argument that him and Goku in their base forms, so like this Frieza and base Goku like scale to like 17 at the end. So if you believe that and you think that's how it is, because this sort of is how it is, then I guess Frieza would go probably closer to here, somewhere in here, but it's all very weird. There's also another Frieza placement that I have that will sort of be the highball for Frieza. I put on the tier list a second Tournament of Power Frieza in case you think he got stronger mid-tournament. That like puts him up here. But I'm not too concerned either way. I would put it like this. Jiren then comes out and is just big dog status. Anyone that scales to Jiren scales to like the top tier. Goku, I believe, pretty much admits and Jiren thinks that Omen 3 Goku, while being stronger than anything else and even rivaling the gods, or surpassing the gods, is still not enough to take down Jiren. Then we know that full power Jiren comes out and is even stronger than this, and is actually able to push Goku while he's in Mastered Ultra Instinct or just Ultra Instinct. Technically, according to the official merchandising, this is now Ultra Instinct Sign, and this is Ultra Instinct. Drinking some water. You gotta stay hydrated. It's bad for your throat to yap on. So, yeah, this is the order. If you want to do it like this, though, I wouldn't actually have a problem with it, because he does outlast him. He, like, gives up the fight, but he does still outlast him in stamina. There's also, like, an argument that Jiren was winning the battle anyways, and that Goku really started beating him once he got mad that Jiren tried to, like, murder all of his friends. So, like, if Jiren wasn't a cunt, Goku probably would have lost anyways. But I'm an Ultra Instinct simp. That guy's going up there. Vegeta and Goku in the Broly movie are stated to be bordering on rivaling the Gods of Destruction. They just explicitly are their blue Kaioken, blue evolution levels, but just stronger because they've been training. But the fact that they're only bordering on the gods means that they don't surpass them like MUI 3, or sorry, Ultra Instinct Sign 3, or Mastered, or Jiren. Not to mention, and this is going to get into like superhero stuff, in the next movie, they still don't think they surpass this Jiren. Broly comes out in Ikari and is able to like push them to blue. So it just comes down to whether or not you think their current blue is stronger than their like evolution in Kaioken. It's also kind of weird because the movie just goes out of its way not to show evolution in Kaioken, because they were trying to make it tie into both the manga and the anime at the time. So whether or not Broly can like beat the evolution level characters in the Tournament of Power is like a little weird. But he was still kind of throwing hands with these two, and they've been training for a while. I personally lean towards it being like this. Broly comes out then and just like starts dog walking these two. He literally beats up both of them so bad that they just like don't even try to break their limits in a really weird out of character moment, and just like, all right, we're gonna go fuse. So, in the same way that these two are like definitively above this tier, he by feats is definitely considered, and also statements considered to be this next level. His statements are that he might surpass Beerus, and we know that's supported by feats of him like just bodying people that are bordering on that. But if we just go off of raw statements, he's actually weaker than these two. Don't worry, I've got a good Broly. Broly is actually a big, strong argument coming down the pipeline, but unfortunately, Broly movie Broly is like probably not that good, even though I like him a lot. Frieza comes out and lasts an hour against this Broly, where these two kind of ran off and dipped, so I'm going to put him by default here. And then Gogeta. Gogeta's probably the strongest character that emerges by the time the Broly movie comes out. It kind of gets into something weird. These three and these three are like two similar levels that are separated. The reason that I personally favor Gogeta is sort of, it's not something that you can support in universe, but there's an argument for Blue Gogeta that comes from movies, and there's an argument for MUI that comes from Heroes. So in Heroes, MUI Goku, or a Goku who scales to another Goku that merges with Vegeta and becomes Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, and also Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 Vegito, loses to someone named Cumber, whereas Goku, that same Goku, goes MUI and bodies Cumber. So if you go off of like Heroes, MUI Goku is like the peak of the verse, and there's no one that's arguing that. But if you go more with the movies, then we know that Goku going Ultra Instinct Sign is stated to be a greater increase than... It's stated to be a greater increase than if he had simply absorbed the Spirit Bomb, which would mean that we know that from the Super Android 13 movie, Super Android 13 was bodying Goku, and then once Goku absorbed the Spirit Bomb, he bodied 13. If you want to argue those are two jumps, so that's 2 times 2 is 4, and then this is a transformation higher than this, it is a transformation. You could argue that's 2 times 2 times 2, so like that's 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. And you could argue this is like a solid 8 times boost from like a Super Saiyan Blue Spirit Bomb absorption above Kaioken times 20. Whereas this Gogeta's like relative to like this Broly, who's kind of in this echelon as a Super Saiyan, and then he goes blue. And we know that from Super Saiyan to 2 is 2, and then Super Saiyan 2 to 3 is 4, so that's 8. And then on top of that, Super Saiyan Blue is at least 50 times stronger than God, so that's like, what, 400? And you can take this further if you want to add in God as a transformation and say that that's also a 2 times in there somewhere, so that's like 800. But the numbers look better for Gogeta when you do it like that. And keep in mind, that's assuming this is actually much bigger, like a numerical increase. So, Gogeta's probably the top. But I could see arguments for Master Ultra Instinct and Jiren going above him. It doesn't really matter. In the anime, though, I would say Gogeta's probably the top, but in the manga, Gogeta's ass. Gogeta's awful. It's explicitly stated in the manga that Gogeta is, like, weaker than Broly. It's really weird. I don't understand what they were going for, but yeah, in the manga, Gogeta's ass. Gamma 1 is explicitly stated to be as strong as Goku and Vegeta. The last time that Goku and Vegeta were, like, measured in the anime would have been Broly, so it just means he's dead equal to them. Piccolo then fights them and is losing, but I would like to think Piccolo is doing better against Gamma 2 than Broly was against the Blues. That's just me. Ultimate Piccolo I would probably put here. Ultimate Gohan then was like dead equal to Gamma 1, but Gamma 1 just had better stamina. So it's actually arguable whether or not Gohan would beat these two. I personally put him here. These Goku and Vegeta have demonstrated on way more occasions that they have better ability to adapt mid-fight, whereas Gohan relies on like boosts from like specifically anger and transformations. So yeah, I'd put it that way. Orange Piccolo comes out and just fucking bodies Gamma 2. So, it kind of gets into, like, how strong is this? And it's like, he's more comparable to, like, this Broly, but for a reason that we're going to get to later, I think he's just going to be at the top of Goku and Vegeta tier. Cell Max has then stated that if he had control of his power, he would be stronger than Broly. Because he doesn't, he's weaker. He's there. Bodies Orange Piccolo. Gotenks and Android 18 Superhero have one argument for them. It stated that Bulma brought Earth's Mightiest Warriors and Krillin. So if you want to take that at its most serious, it just means they both surpass Krillin. Gotenks has a better... I'm going to say Gotenks is above. In the manga, apparently Goten and Trunks like fight Gamma 1 and 2. So like that's good for them in the manga. You know? Gamma 2 is the only one that with a self-destruct attack can do anything to Cell Max. So... he's going to go above Orange Piccolo. Beast Gohan then comes out and beats Cell Max. However, he only beats him while he's weakened, and he has to use a technique that amps his strength on his weak spot. So I'm going to put him above him, but that doesn't put him above anyone else in this tier. Then we get to Goku, who has just been training since this. So he would just by default be stronger. The reason we're going to put them there... and we know that Goku was sparring with Broly, so he's not too crazy above them either. Is that it is stated now that Piccolo is rivaling Goku. That was the intention of Orange Piccolo. So it would make sense for Goku and not base, but Goku without his weird stuff to be Piccolo level, Orange Piccolo level. And we know that Vegeta won their little sparring match. Broly relied on in his movie on getting stronger, so even if he's base to base equal to Goku, he might be lower. But we're just gonna put him here for now. Now, this is probably, I think, the list most people would agree with, but I personally disagree with this. This is for one reason. I personally view the statement that Cell Max is a threat that Goku or Vegeta, and we'll get into why it doesn't matter if you say it's Goku and or Goku or. People have like the linguistics argument because they hate Cell Max, right? And I get it. He sucks. Superhero sucks. It's like made for people who think the abridged has better writing than the actual series. You know, that's the kind of movie Superhero is. But unfortunately, Cell Max's statement of being equal to Broly and a threat that Goku and Vegeta can't handle is more than likely referencing Gogeta Blue and MUI. This is Goku's individual, so Goku or Vegeta, and then this would cover Goku and Vegeta. And if you take it that way, then it's like, well, is Broly up here? That doesn't make sense if he's stronger than Gogeta, who's stronger than Broly. And that just means that Broly has probably been training, and is now the peak of the verse. But Gohan came out with his feats and is stronger than both. This would also make Gamma 2's self-destruct attack like a Gogeta Blue MUI level attack. Kind of crazy that he's like in the top 10 in the anime. Beerus is weaker than Broly in these three, and all of them, he's the benchmark for the top tier. He's still stronger than Goku and Vegeta, and Piccolo, who is now rivaling Goku and Vegeta. He has better feats, but he wouldn't be too far behind in Superhero. They've also been training since Broly, so this Gamma would be as strong as them, but weaker than them in Superhero. So the statement about only Goku and Vegeta not being able to handle them only applies to Cell, not the Gammas. So this is my tier list. Tell me what you disagree with, and I'm not doing that for engagement. I actually want to have like hear new opinions and stuff, because like everyone has like their like, you know, like Cell Max argument, but like I don't know. It just kind of sucks that it just goes into like promotional guide arguments. But yeah, this is where I stand on this stuff now, because it's been a while since I said I'm sorry. Yeah. God, this shit looks so goofy. I love the little picture of Broly I chose. That's a good picture for like second in the verse Broly. It's like me. All right, bye.